1 of the Western Conference playoffs brings a whole new challenge for the San Antonio Spurs. Although the Spurs entered the playoffs limping rather than at full stride, they still remain hopeful for the second round. But the core of Terry Cummings, Sean Elliott, and Rod Strickland will have a formidable task as they try to slow down the Phoenix Suns. The likes of Kevin Johnson, Jeff Hornacek, and Dan Marley make up an explosive unit. First round action from Phoenix next on the Spurs Television Network.
This half of Spurs basketball is made possible by H-E-B. Every day there's a new reason to shop H-E-B. By Southwest Airlines, celebrating 20 years of everyday low fares and convenient flights to many exciting destinations. By Toyota, I love what you do for me. By Diamond Shamrock, all you need for gas and groceries. By First Gibraltar San Antonio, for years to come. By Pizza Hut, making it great. And by Bud Dry, dry brewed so it drinks light, yet satisfies completely.
We're at Veterans Memorial Coliseum in Phoenix, where we welcome you to Game 1 of the Western Conference Playoff Series between the San Antonio Spurs and the Phoenix Suns. Dave Barnett along with Greg Simmons, very glad to have you along. And if it is true that most athletes prefer to play the underdog role, less pressure, less expectations, then the Spurs should be deliriously happy coming into this series. They are massive underdogs, Greg. They're one of the 3 biggest underdogs coming into the postseason of the 16 teams still playing in the NBA, but they are wearing their intentions on their backs. They've got T-shirts printed up coming into this series that say, "Get one" on the back, and that's their whole intention. If they get one here in these first 2 games, they're happy.
That was Greg Popovich's subtle way of telling us they're going to play a little bit more physical tonight, they hope. This is a key here, and Vinnie Johnson and Dave alluded to this. They must play loose. They must play as if there is no pressure on them. And a lot of people are saying that the Spurs are going to go down 3 straight. Well, that's what the Spurs hope the Suns think, and that they'll lay down for them at one point. There's no pressure on the Spurs to beat the Suns tonight. And they point to just Seattle the other night, who beat Golden State in Game 1 and shocked the Warriors.
And if you go matchup by matchup in this series, for the Spurs to have any success, it's got to begin in the backcourt.
That's right. We start with the point guard position here as KJ matches up against Rod Strickland. KJ having a great year. Rod only about 90% right now, so he's got to get some help on defense here because of the pulled groin, so he'll force KJ inside a bunch. Sean Elliott will go to the number 2 position again tonight. His assignment will be against Jeff Hornacek, who's having his best year as a pro. Elliott, of course, playing before the family. He'll have to loosen up. Cedric Ceballos, of course, had a great game last time against San Antonio. 27 points. Donald Royal will have to stop him. He's starting at the 4 position again tonight. Big men inside. How about Tim Perry against Terry Cummings? Cummings has trouble getting up and down the floor against Perry, who's a lot quicker. And as a starter now, the Suns are 49-20 with Perry in the 4 position. And then there's a Lang-Carr matchup inside. Lang having a good game against Antoine Carr. Carr having a bad game on the boards. He must rebound tremendously better than he did there last time here in order for the Spurs to have a chance. And the rebounding, of course, will fall on Carr and Elliott. And it's a matchup here. The Lame Duck coaches, Cotton Fitzsimmons and Bob Bass tonight. They are both on their way out of the end of this season, of course. And Cotton Fitzsimmons told us part of the game that Bob is more lame than he is because he's been interim coach more often.
Cotton announcing yesterday that he will step down and turn the reins over to Paul Westphal, a former Sun guard who has been his assistant the last 4 years. And the other replacement waiting to take the reins is also here in the building, and that is, of course, Jerry Tarkanian, who next year takes over for Bob Bass, who moves back into the front office. Let's move to the Spurs Center and bring in Cordell Patrick.
All right, thanks a lot, gentlemen. Welcome to the Spurs Center. Cordell Patrick with you. Playoff action, round 1. San Antonio taking on the Phoenix Suns. Live action coming your way in just a couple of moments. We talked about Cotton Fitzsimmons on his way out. There were a couple of coaches also yesterday on their way out. First, we'll stop off in Milwaukee. Frank Hamlin, he took over on an...
Here are Nike matchups as we showed you. Royal Ceballos at small forward, Cummings and Perry at big forward. Carr and Lang in the middle. Sean Elliott again at off guard tonight against Jeff Hornacek, Rod Strickland and Kevin Johnson. Maybe the marquee matchup in this series at point guard. And Ceballos, somewhat of a surprise because Tom Chambers says he feels good. But because of the game he had last week in the last regular season meeting between these two, Fitzsimmons back to Ceballos as a starter. He was at guard that night. He's at forward tonight. And Tom Chambers still nursing the left ankle ligament strain, comes off the bench. Even more firepower for an already solid Suns bench.
That's what kills you, because you got Marley, who's the second leading scorer for the Suns, off the bench.
Suns control right down to KJ. Strickland had the better of the two meetings head-to-head, and Elliott on the back of Jeff Hornacek.
Yeah, already they were going at it. Elliott went up high on Hornacek here. They had a battle going inside here. They're trying to get the ball in, and there you see Elliott tangling with Hornacek early. Now, Elliott's got the height advantage over Jeff, and he's got to settle down and play his game. And I remember he plays before a lot of family here, and usually has him pretty uptight early going.
Ceballos against Royal, made him take an off-balance shot, and the gang rebounding effect for the Spurs, causing the loose ball in the corner. Knocked out, still Phoenix ball, but a good sign. The Spurs coaches say there is absolutely no way we win this series if Terry Cummings doesn't get help on the boards. And Bass is mainly talking there about Carr and Elliott. It has got to be a gang rebounding picture. Other big key, getting back, stopping the Phoenix fast break. Cummings with the board here, and the third key in the series is taking good shots, not hoisting up late 20-footers.
Oh, that was just a total pandemonium the last time we were in this building. Everybody was taking outside jumpers. No one's setting up in an offense.
And Antoine Carr gives the Spurs the early lead. Carr's the starter without David Robinson, 17 points per game and 6 boards per game. That one partially blocked. Cummings with a loose ball to Ceballos. Carr got a piece of the jam, but Ceballos strong enough to force it on down.
The strength of the youngster there comes right inside. That was off a good defensive move by Rod Strickland. He forced KJ inside. Didn't give him the baseline that time. Forced the miss, and unfortunately Ceballos was there with the putback.
You will notice the Spurs making a sartorial change. The white shoes are back after the black shoes all year long. Presumably that means something emotionally. Tough for me to figure how you changed your shoe color and you're supposed to be a different team. They're convinced it works. We'll see.
Get rid of any knowledge of the latter part of the season decimated by injuries.
KJ off Perry. Got it back underneath Ceballos with a wild reverse. As the shot clock was expiring, 4-2 Phoenix.
That's all on Michael Jordan. He had nowhere to go. He was under the basket when he got the pass, realizing the shot clock was down. He went right for it.
That's not a shot Tom Chambers would have tried, much less hit in his physical state. Cummings from the circle ties it at 4. DC into the postseason playing as high a level of basketball as he has ever played. 25 points, 13 rebounds per game since the injury to David Robinson. Lang in a crowded middle, misses the lefty hook, and here comes Strickland. 3-on-3, rocket all the way. Elliott, short-range jumper, and the Spurs go back up.
That's a good sign. Remember how Sean struggled early here when he had the open shot. He thought about it. That time he just took the shot instantly. It went down.
The lower the score, the better as far as the Spurs are concerned. KJ winding his way through for his first 2. Second in the NBA in assists, only to John Stockton this year. Scoring slightly down. In fact, he just missed his 4th straight 20.10 assist average year. 19.7 points. In the middle, Royal. Cummings the offensive board, but not the putback. Captured again by Royal, in trouble deep, and he hands it over to Ceballos. KJ at the other end, back to Ceballos. That decision of Fitzsimmons to start this man and bring Chambers off the bench already paying big dividends.
It just makes him a faster team off a break situation like that. And poor Donald Roy, who was looking for any help anywhere and couldn't find it, should have put it off the foot.
Carr off 1 foot goes. Antoine hoping to occupy Lang as much as he can. Lang not a big scorer. And if Carr is on, that could be one matchup that turns into a big advantage for the Spurs. Perry from outside. And again, Cummings with help on the boards.
Good hustle signs are getting motion in the offense.
Royal to finish the break. Spurs by 2. Ronald Royal, of course, at his best, going to the hoop. Still trying to develop the consistent jumper. Hornacek is stripped by Strickland. Rocket will lead a 3-on-1. KJ back. Perry Cummings all the way.
Yeah, that time it was a team effort because Elliott cut Hornacek off from the basket. He had no place to go, so Strickland stepped in immediately for the steal.
And the early advantage belonging to the Spurs as an exasperated Fitzsimmons calls time at 7:35 to go in the first quarter. And the Spurs on top early by 4. Spurs basketball continues after this message from Southwest Airlines.
At Southwest Airlines, you can always depend on our low, unrestricted fares. Oh, we'd like to.
Is game one. The winner of game one has won 54 of 64 playoff series the last 8 years. The home court, a 72% advantage in the first round, and only 3 teams have ever come back from a 2-0 deficit. Hornacek with the long 2, 12-10 San Antonio.
That time they doubled on the pick and roll. Hornacek broke free on the outside, and no one was there to guard the shot.
What a year for Hornacek, becoming an all-star for the first time and leading the Suns in scoring for the first time. Just over 20 per game. Room for Cummings, one-on-one with Perry. Outside, fall away. Royal hits the boards. And easily the most impressive thing the Spurs have thrown at Phoenix these first 5 minutes is the energy and rebound. Cummings baseline for 2.
And he got it right where he wanted it to, low on the baseline so he can hit the turnaround fall away. But that's the key, Dave, is everyone is hitting the boards here. It's not just Terry tonight. It's Carr, it's Elliott, and Donald Royal getting in there with some good action.
Second foul of the game, and it's on Terry Cummings, his first. Vic Bavetta, Steve Javy, and Jim Clark, the officiating trio tonight. Normally, officials loathe to call that many fouls in the playoffs, letting the players play to a much greater degree than they tend to during the regular season. Perry in the pick and rolls. Look for the Spurs to double team hard every time they set up the pick and roll. It works here. Hornacek, nowhere to go. 3 on the shot clock. Elliott tipping it to Strickland. Tremendous team defense, and Hornacek with a frustration foul.
You couldn't draw it up any better, Dave. Exactly what the Spurs coaching staff wants their team to do. Exactly what was executed here. There's Terry, and now Rock comes out on the double team. There's the first stop there. KJ tries to dish it out to Hornacek. He has no place to go with the ball. Shot clock is down to 3 now. He's got to get rid of it, and when he does here, he still has no place to go, so Elliott reaches in and knocks the ball away.
And then shot almost hitting the circus shot, drawing the foul by Perry. Well, you just saw a major part of the Spurs defensive game plan. Get the ball out of Kevin Johnson's hands. Double team him hard when they set up the pick and roll. And Phoenix obviously not expecting that kind of aggressive defense and having to make the early adjustments. Dan Marley quickly into the game, replacing Hornacek.
Hornacek, of course, did not play in the Spurs' last game against Phoenix. He was resting at that time, and a little rush showing here early, so they get Marley in the game, and that's the trouble with Phoenix. Just when you think you have the front line beat, they bring in a guy like Marley, who for the Suns is their second leading scorer against the Spurs.
Biggest lead so far, 16-10. KJ partially deflected by Strickland. Lang got it, and the whistle prior to his shot. And Lang called for the push, his first.
Well, it had to be on Lang because Carr had position for the rebound, so he had to be coming from behind. We'll see if that's the case. Even Cotton is going to dispute that one.
So you got Jumbotron in the building, coaches feeling that they have enough evidence
now watch the ball
to dispute.
Come right out the back of the rim here. Where is the push? You don't see it there unless it happened before the ball came off the rim.
Lang in Carr's face. Carr with his own miss and throws it away.
Now, TC's mad at himself that time. He was concentrating so hard at getting to the basket, he forgot to bring the ball with him.
Johnson short from outside. Batted around. Spurs take it.
I tell you, it looked like Rod got a piece of that ball, too, at the same time. Rod is playing good defense in front of KJ tonight. He's forcing him to the inside, and Cotton Fitzsimmons does not like what he sees here early in this game.
Suns go to the trap, easily defeated by Strickland. Royal hard to the hoop. Lang got him. That's his second.
Yeah, a body check there by Andrew Lang as Donald Royal took it in. And one reason why the Spurs are getting very good penetration against Cotton Fitzsimmons and the Suns tonight is simply because they have very good ball movement. And that's what's throwing. The Suns are not used to seeing this from this team tonight. Here it is again. There's a penetration. There's a body bump there by Lang as Royal clearly had a path to the basket.
A big booze on that replay with not much reason to dispute the call. Donald Royal in his playoff debut. A little over a year ago at this time, as Mark West replaced Lang. Donald Royal in Tel Aviv under an assumed name. When Desert Storm was going on, his team had to check. Anybody with an American name had to play Muslim over there, and he would occasionally become Muhammad Akbar. But apparently not hampering his NBA hopes, because he has come a long way, all the way to a starting position in game 1. 18-10 Spurs. Ceballos with a miss, and Carr the defensive board. A near flawless first 7 minutes for the Spurs. The lefty runner for Cummings, and the lead is 10.
Everything is working. The isolate on the right side there for Cummings, and he takes it straight in with a nice little hook jump.
Suns isolate for KJ, and he is fouled. KJ's game, of course, all about penetrating. Maybe the quickest guard in the NBA, and Strickland called for his first and the team's third.
And, you know, that's where Rod needs a little help there on the penetration. What he needs to do is force him to the inside and get help from a guy like Carr or Elliott.
KJ, the last 3 years, second team All-NBA, may or may not make it this year. Some numbers slightly down for Johnson. Shooting, scoring both down. Ed Neely, who was perfect in the last regular season meeting last weekend for Tim Perry.
Spurs fans will recognize Ed Neely, and you know what he's improved on the most this year is his three-point shooting. He certainly demonstrated that against the Spurs the last time they played, hitting the first 2 3-point shots of the game.
A 10-1 run. They go up by 9. Strickland overthrowing Carr. And the Suns making their defensive adjustments, forcing a couple of quick Spur turnovers. Playoff ball, all about adjustments. Ceballos rejected, got it back. Ceballos is the early offense for Phoenix. He has 8 of their 13 points, and Bob Bass wants time.
And a lot of it just comes on great second effort there. Ceballos is the only one playing, I think, tonight to the level what the team Spurs are playing to this evening.
4:02 in the period. Spurs basketball continues after these words from our local station.
How to Win Basketball Games by Toyota and me, Sean Elliott. Test drive a new Toyota at any of your San Antonio Toyota dealers. Then enter for a chance to win tickets to Spurs basketball games or the grand prize, a new 1992 Toyota Camry Deluxe. You can also enter a half-court free throw contest, and you could win a brand new Camry. So take your best shot. See your San Antonio Toyota dealers for details now.
I remember applying for my first mortgage.
Check this out.
Tark, just a fan here in Phoenix. Ross Brookbinder, Spurs Vice President, to Jerry Tarkanian's right, has to be impressed with the first 8 minutes.
His work begins with the draft, too. Spurs picking up the 18th pick in the NBA draft after a coin flip with Seattle.
20-13 Spurs. Phoenix 6 of 15 from the field, and out rebounded 9-3. Cummings a 10-point first quarter.
All right, well, he just goes on to demonstrate his leadership since David's been out. He's just been the scoring machine, the go-to guy in the without David period.
Ceballos posting on. Royal has a 10-point first quarter. Lang scoreless when he left. West scoreless. Hornacek only 2. Marley is scoreless. Perry is scoreless. Johnson has 3. Sabalos, of all people, carrying Phoenix as they trail by 7. Could be a lot worse. Carr left alone by West. A key shot to continue to put down for Antoine.
So far, the Spurs are matching up very well with the Suns. The way they had the substitution rain coming in is doing very well for the Spurs.
Royal over helping on West, puts him on the line.
This is where the weak spot is tonight. Sabalos, of course, against Royal here. Now Royal comes over to try and help on defense, where they go to the pick and roll, and you see him take the handoff as he comes in late.
Only one mark West at the line, 2 shots.
Donald with his first foul, putting West on the line. West throughout his career a high percentage shooter, but really a defensive specialist. Good shot blocker, good rebounder. Benny Johnson first appearance as he replaces Royal and moves Elliott to the small forward spot.
Well, this could be a key for the Spurs. VJ's performance tonight off the bench. They need everything he can give. His playoff experience. He goes back to Detroit, of course, where he's able to win 2 rings there. He's able to put down the game-winning jumper, of course, to give him the 1990 NBA championship.
Hornacek back in for Sabalos. And the lead is 7. Also in for the Spurs, Sidney Green, replacing Carr in the matchup with Mark West. Johnson against Hornacek. Shot clock down to 7. The long 2 goes for the Rocket, his first 2.
Boy, that is a lucky shot, too. You realize, of course, they want to go to the inside more. They had people cutting that just couldn't feed them the ball.
Pick and roll, creating another turnover, the defense of Green and Strickland.
Yeah, and they've done that very well. You know, all season long, I think they've been able to handle it at specific times. Good pick and roll defense. Demonstrated, of course, against Rockets at particular times. And Utah as well.
Strickland all the way through and will shoot 2. The Spurs version of the pick and roll, creating a foul on Ed Mealy. And the Spurs get the bonus.
They're just taking it right to him. You see Rod trying to get around KJ here. Turns the corner on KJ. Gets some good defense. And then you see the body bump there by Neely. So he just puts it up at the last second. But Rod turning the corner on KJ. Says he's only 90%. Not bad for 90%.
90, and then maybe add 10% for the adrenaline factor in the postseason, and he creates a chance for Green to dive for the loose ball. Bavetta says off Green and out of bounds.
Yeah, that's okay, though. That's hustle. That's hustle. And that was a veteran there, Sidney, diving for the ball.
Hustle, but hopefully not injury. They play on, and it is 5-on-4, and KJ all the way. The Spurs unable until now to stop the clock with a 20-second timeout as Green quickly gets treatment from John Anderson.
They tried to call a 20. KJ took the ball out of bounds before Steve Jaffe could yell the 20. Bob Bass is now yelling at Steve Jaffe, and what they're looking at now on Sidney is his neck when he took the fall for the ball.
Well, the position where the Spurs are thinnest now in doubt is Green, the backup for the backup center.
Let's see Sidney going for, oh, right there. You see where the contact was made against Jeff Hornacek's knee. So you see, that's where the contact was made with Sidney, and the good thing for the Spurs is Sidney is still in the game. One more time, this is Green going for a loose ball. Folks, this is the difference between the playoffs and the regular season here. You see his head hit into the side of Jeff Hornacek's right knee.
Long inbounds pass, Strickland all the way, misses the scoop. Cummings throws it away and gets it back and scores. Ladies and gentlemen, playoff basketball.
What an effort by Cummings. He was in there the whole way.
Marley from deep. 29-21, a minute 40 in the first period. Last week, Phoenix put a 37-point knot on the Spurs' head in the first quarter. What a difference a week makes. Elliott from outside. The Spurs, phenomenal outside shooting, up to 68% now, 13 of 19. Marley bumped by Green.
Yeah, that time they exploited a mismatch. They had a switch on. Rod drew Marley in the switch, so all they had to do was just lob the ball inside to Marley. He had an easy break to the basket.
Number 9, Pat Marley at the line, 2 shots.
13 appearances in 16 NBA seasons for the Spurs in the postseason. 3 trips to the conference finals, 7 first-round defeats, and 3 sweeps. And if this isn't a sweep, the odds makers will take a big hit. Spurs 13-point underdogs in this first game. The only bigger underdogs in any series, the Lakers and the Heat. But most athletes will tell you they deep down, although they say they want respect, they get much more motivation from a lack of respect. And some of that quite possibly coming out in this first quarter. Green fall away, tough shot down to Marley. A minute to play in the period. KJ winds his way through and misses. There's West for the putback jam. Six-point game. Fans into it. They've been stunned most of these first 12 minutes. Strickland double, Green, cross court to Elliott, who launches the three-pointer.
What a big basket to stop the run by the Suns.
And just as big, Shaw expecting Marley to try to answer. Took his three-pointer away, and they settled for 2 from KJ. Most people figuring the lower the score, the better for the Spurs. Not so in this opening period of the opening game. 67% shooting and a 7-point lead. Cummings, 2 more. 14 for TC, 7 of 10 shooting. Johnson with 5 seconds. Strickland got a piece. Hornacek. And they will not get the attempt off by Neely in time. At the end of a frenetic first quarter, a surprise here in Phoenix as the Spurs, powered by 14 from TC on top of the Suns, 36-27. And Spurs basketball returns after these words from Diamond Shamrock.
Playoff action. This one is now a final. New York and Detroit. Pat Riley's club picking up a 109-75 win over Detroit. Detroit, this team cannot score points in basketball games in the later parts of this season. Now let's go to another score. Michael Jordan just missing a triple-double tonight. Then the Bulls win. Los Angeles and Utah. The Clippers, of course, 24-19. That is a first quarter score. I mentioned Michael Jordan, 46 points in the Bulls win. Let's get you back out to Veterans Memorial Coliseum for the second quarter. Dave Barnett and Greg Simmons.
All right, Cordell, the Spurs with a 9-point lead coming into the second period. They have to be most happy about their effort and not too displeased with their shooting, 68%. On the other hand, as Tom Chambers sees action for the first time, he and the Suns have got to say, well, we're home. 9 points, not that big a deal at home, game 1. And if they shoot 68% for the whole game, they're going to beat us. But how likely is that?
They bring in Chambers for some board work here because that's what the Spurs are winning, is off the boards as well.
Mark West with the perimeter work, helping out against Rod Strickland, picks up his first. Phoenix in that first period only 48%. Out rebounded 10-7. And both teams 5 of 6 from the line. Former Clipper teammates Tom Chambers and Terry Cummings. VJ back to TC. The high arc. 8 for 11 for Cummings.
How do you adjust to playing against Tom Chambers? You shoot it higher.
Biggest lead of the game, 11. Chambers with the quick response. A career low year for Tom Chambers, 16 points per game, 5.8 rebounds per game, and 43% shooting, all across the board lows in his career.
Yeah, he's just been nagged by injuries this season. Started off bad for him even in training camp, really didn't get going to the latter part of the first part of the season, and now it's finally coming together.
Green missing, Royal lost it to Marley. Chambers running the floor, sore ankle and all. Left open and misses.
Count him in the lane for that rebound. 1, 2, 3, 4 Spurs.
Some guys were taking notes in some of the practices and skull sessions this week. Strickland driving on KJ. Double clutches for the two.
Oh, that came from the hit too, Dave. That's a great shot because he clutched one time. They went up for the block and then he shot it off the hip.
Back up by 11. Make it 9. Marley from the corner. Marley, the third leading scorer, second leading steals man, third leading rebounder, all off the bench, and made the all-star team for the first time this year. KJ almost picking Strickland's pocket. Green back to the Rocket for the two in the lane. And Strickland shots on target in this first half. 3 of 4, 7 points for Strickland. Royal staying in front of Marley, made him take the tough shot, and it still goes.
Yeah, it falls. They foil the pick and roll again. They force Marley in a one-on-one shooting situation. He makes it count that time, but that's what they want him to do, is force the jump shot, take him out of the pick and roll.
Cummings again adjusting the arc and missing over Chambers this time. Johnson throws it behind Chambers. 2-on-1 if they hurry. Strickland tripped up by Jeff Hornacek. And these Phoenix fans continue to howl on every call, no matter how obvious. Hornacek's second, and the team second.
He was sandwiched. You can't call it any worse than that. That was Rod Strickland's kamikaze style of getting to the basket here. It draws a foul off of Hornacek. He cuts back to the inside. There's the contact, and so he just immediately leans up and in and puts the ball in the air. But it can't get any more blatant than that.
Big scoring first half, not only by Cummings. Elliott with 9, and now Rod Strickland with 8. Career high assist season for the Rocket, 8.6, good for 5th in the NBA. Much more settled off the floor, and it is shown on the floor. 44-33. Johnson almost nowhere to go. Hornacek at the last second. Cross court, Marley, three-pointer. He led the Suns in total threes this year. And Johnson with the rebound starts the break. Marley stripping Strickland. Hornacek at the other end. And that one will be called on Green, I believe.
It looked like Phoenix got a hand on there at the last, so they're going to call it against the Suns. Spurs ball on the other end. Marley with some great defense as they fed the ball to Rocket. Rod was trying to get it to somebody else, and he just intercepted Rod's pass.
He looked like he thought hard about a foul on Green and swallowed the whistle. And the Spurs can go up by 13, 8.5-minute mark. Second period from Veterans Memorial Coliseum. Green on a perfect feed from Paul Pressey, who sees action for the first time in 5 games. Marley unable to finish. Chambers, second chance, hammered by Antoine Carr. Well, if nothing else, the Spurs have gotten the attention of these fans.
I tell you, it's more than the fans here they've gotten the attention of. I bet everybody watching at home is standing in the living room, too. This is something. This is an effort we have not seen from this team in a long time.
Johnson's first trip to the bench, allowing Steve Burt, like Royal, out of the CBA this year to see his first action. Burt, the third leading scorer in the CBA, 24 per game for Oklahoma City when he was called up in late February, finally signed for the year March 5th. And the type of effort player who can have an impact on an effort-driven game like this one. 1 of 2 for Chambers. The lead is 10. Suns now foiling the Spurs' attempts at picking and rolling.
Yeah, that time Carr was open. Vinny had to feed the pass quickly, just went right through his arms.
Burt, 29 years old, but in only his 3rd year in the NBA. A lot of up and down trips to the CBA. The lefty scoop will go for Chambers. Count it with Antoine Carr's second foul.
Yeah, Carr turned him inside that time. He got a body bump, and the scoop just came right up here at the last second. Here's the bump there. Now watch you just lay it up in there. He gets the roll. He had a teammate coming in. This is Lang thinking about tipping it in. This is, wait a minute, I heard a whistle.
So Tom Chambers, 6 quick points off the bench. And the Suns close within 7. Bird picking up Cressy early. Cressy off the bruised lower back, sustained on a dive out of bounds in the Forum a couple of weeks back. Did not play in the last 4 regular season games. Maybe a little rusty, and he traveled.
Yeah, he went inside. He thought about it one time too many. It caused his feet to shuffle in the turnover.
Suns coming from 11 back and a big possession here. If they cut it to 5, crowd goes wild. Spurs might call time. Burt to Marlin. Elliott staying in front. Chambers for 3. Not the three-point shooter he has been in his career. Steve Burt from the corner. They have it down to 5 at the 7-minute mark of the second.
Right now the Suns are going for the loose ball.
And it's working. Cressy taking it back for the reverse jam.
Oh. That's where you tell them we want it more, right there.
Fans, of course, wanted the foul on Cressy as he bumped Burt for the loose ball. That's an example of letting him play in the playoffs. Chambers charges. They'll hate this call. Tom Chambers with his first. And a Phoenix timeout. 6:37 in the second period. Paul Pressey giving the Spurs a 7-point advantage.
Goes right for the loose ball, Dave, and then just takes it right to the basket. That's just an effort bucket.
At Southwest Airlines, you can always depend on...
Summary, Cummings is on fire. A steal by Burt. Drives on Pressey, and Pressey puts him on the line. Now the rest of that summary, Spurs 18-9 in the backcourt, a major surprise, and 66% beyond surprising, otherworldly from the field.
I tell you, the key on this one all around has been, since the beginning of this game for the Spurs and Bob Bass, has been good ball movement. Everybody's involved in the offense. Everyone's involved in the defense, and that was not the case the last time they played in this Coliseum. Everyone was going in different directions. Tonight they're playing as a team.
Burt originally drafted in the second round by Golden State back in 1984 out of Iona. 4 in the period for Burt, and the Suns again within 5. They only led once early by 2. Spurs have had it a couple of times as high as 11. Pressey spotting the open man. Elliott's 3 is long and boarded by Hornacek. But all 5 in black back quickly on the defensive end, and Hornacek puts in the circus shot.
Yeah, and that's Carr's 3rd foul, too. Here it is again. You see he'll draw the foul here off of Antoine Carr as he penetrates inside. There is the body bump, and there is the basket.
Carr having to decide there the credo in the playoffs is no layups, nothing uncontested. Didn't want to let Hornacek go right past him, but he didn't reach. He didn't try to block the shot, and he tried to be as subtle as he could, and it wasn't quite subtle enough, and Hornacek doesn't get the 3-point play. Lang back in for the rebound. And all of a sudden, things looking up for Phoenix. Chambers switching to the lefty, and the hook rolls off to Sean Elliott.
Well, he got Terry to think about him shooting the 3, then he drove, but couldn't get the switch hand to roll in for you.
Suns turning this thing around in the second period, beginning with double teams on Strickland, who again turns it over. Hornacek with Johnson back. 1-point game.
Well, that time Rod is left alone to penetrate. They double up on him, and no one is back in the lane to force and help out in the turnover.
And Bob Bass quickly calls time. The 9th turnover of the first half by the Spurs, now counterbalancing their great shooting. And the Suns crawl back within 1 at 46-45. Spurs basketball continues after this message from Southwest Airlines.
At Southwest Airlines, you get
painting craze, and not an especially attractive one. It is nothing new for the Suns to get to the postseason or even to get to the conference finals. Only one trip to the NBA finals, and that is their objective, of course, this year. Vinnie Johnson with his first outside shot, 48-45 San Antonio. Good and the bad. The good is Spurs hitting 65% from the field. The bad is they only lead by 3, and Hornacek tries to tie it and misses. That one, it looked like went off Elliott. In fact, it may have popped that left pinky back out of joint. They give it to the Spurs. They say it didn't touch Sean last, but it definitely touched him somewhere right there.
There's on the hand, and there might have been the contact. When the ball came off, he was fully extended.
Right call. Lang touched it last, but Sean is hurt, and Johnson sticks another one. Then he trying to match Hornacek point for point. And the lead quickly back up to 5. Steve Burt penetrating. Lang ahead to Johnson. The 360 spin and VJ.
Oh, he's hot.
Shaking big. Vintage microwave. We only saw that a few times during the regular season as Hornacek slips in. But if we see it even 3 times in this series, Vinnie Johnson a real difference maker.
That could be a key for these Spurs when they go to the bench to have a guy like Vinnie Johnson ready to produce for them.
Terry Cummings against Chambers. Shot clock under 10. As Terry loses it out of bounds off his own knee. That is where the Spurs have their trouble. When they break it down to one-on-one, stand-around basketball, that is where they really play into the Suns' hand.
Well, Chambers guessed right. He guessed he was going to turn into the baseline that time, and he had the arm out there ready and knocked the ball away.
Sean Elliott really summing that up. He says we're 2 teams. The team that shows up plays hard defense and unselfish offense can beat anybody, even without Robinson. The other team, the one-on-one team, can lose to anybody, and the defense creates another turnover, the 7th by Phoenix. Spin, TC for 2 more. 18 for the half for Cummings.
That's right. Great hustle on the other end. They force a turnover by double-teaming that time, and it creates the offense for them on the other end.
And a 22nd Fitzsimmons timeout. 3:18 to play in the first half. Don't forget the Spurs summer basketball camp coming up with several one-week sessions in San Antonio and a week-long session in Austin. If you'd like more information, call 1-800-688-SPUR. That has been something that occupies a lot of Greg Popovich's at R.C. Buford's and Ed Manning's time during the postseason. Coming up, our Builder Square halftime report, Budweiser's scoreboard. And we'll take a look at the upcoming dance team tryouts. Greg, one of the early eliminated contestants, still shaking it off. And we'll talk live at the end of the half to Jerry Tarkanian.
Just did not look good in the outfits.
I tried to tell you. Johnson, outside shot not falling for KJ. He's 3 for 9. And the Spurs, who saw their lead chopped to 1, can build it back to 9. At the 3-minute mark of the half. Again, the clear out, one-on-one, and again, Cummings hits 20 on 10 for 14 from the field.
Notice that time he didn't hold the ball as long. He made up his mind to shoot quickly, got rid of it, and that is a key, too.
KJ down the baseline, 9 points. And that's where the Suns are at their most dangerous, when Johnson penetrates quickly and either looks for his own shot or the quick dish. Johnson against Marley. And Chambers. Spotted Green to the deck. Cummings. And now Hornacek with a loose ball. 3-on-2. Marley the big finish. Thunder Dan, maybe the most popular son, one of the most popular players they've ever had out here, a poster boy.
And without question, the most versatile on this team. Can play just about any position they want him to.
Hornacek getting some help on VJ. They've seen enough from Vinny, who turns it over. Wanted a whistle, didn't get it. Long pass, KJ. Back to a three-point game.
All right, the problem now is the Spurs are trying to play individual basketball. They were good with team basketball early in the game.
Johnson fouling Elliott as the fans wanted a foul when Sean went past Dan Marley.
Hey, you're going to try and tell us there's no difference between the regular season and the playoffs when it comes to whistles? It's getting physical out there.
A minute 25 in the first half. All in all, the Suns shouldn't feel too badly. They have survived a 69% first half from San Antonio, and they trail by only 3. Cummings will go to the line on Tom Chambers' second personal.
Number 24, Tom Chambers.
Good quick penetration to split the defense by TC, and that draws a foul off of Chambers.
Terry Cummings at the line, 2 shots.
Now, this game has been dictated by the more aggressive defensive team. That was the Spurs in the first quarter. Most of the second period, it's been Phoenix double-teaming on the ball, forcing quick turnovers.
Well, the Spurs have not been playing as much as a team here in this second period. You see guys trying to do a lot of it on their own. TC, DJ that last time down. And they got a lot of help on the floor. Use the ball movement to create the openings for yourself.
Which should be easier theoretically when they double-team the ball and leaving somebody open. The Spurs have got to find that open man. Pressey did it a couple of times when he was in. Johnson to the line with a minute 2. Well, it's going to take more than pressing. It's going to be a team effort. Cummings, second foul, 5th against the team. HEB hustle stats look this way early. That is not Neely scoring 17 off turnovers. It is Neely's Suns team outscoring the Spurs off turnovers.
Neely had 17 the last time these two teams faced.
One reason Phoenix more optimistic about their postseason chances this year is because this man's pretty healthy. Not this man, this man. He had a hamstring pull that basically took him out of the first round series that they lost at the hands of the Utah Jazz a year ago. Minor ailments this year, nothing like what he suffered into the postseason last year. Marley also ailing last year, as was Chambers, and they were almost as banged up as the Spurs are entering this year. Good feed into Green. Rejection down to Cummings. And the off-balance hook put back by Green. More of the effort that built the 11-point lead to begin with.
Well, Green has struggled a little bit tonight with his ball handling, and that time he makes up for it.
Johnson, the quick miss. Spurs 30 seconds. Johnson taking that shot as quickly as he did because he ensures the Suns will get it back. Difference of about 8 on the 2 clocks. (59-54) San Antonio, a 13-point game 1 underdog. Marley stripping Elliott, and the shot clock expires. Too bad because it went.
It just went as he unloaded that prayer that went right in off the board.
And I don't think Rod goes to that shot nearly often enough either.
It ought to be part of the repertoire.
So 8.7 seconds for Phoenix to work with. Now that works out perfectly in terms of Johnson's quick shot, giving Phoenix the extra late first half attempt. Now Bavetta over to the scorer's table, maybe debating whether it's 8.7 seconds after all. 9 seconds they decide. Three-pointer, a major possibility with both Marley and Hornacek in. It was a possibility. Elliott flies with 3.4 seconds. 7-point lead. Hornacek quickly up. Marley's 3 at the buzzer is short. And the underdog Spurs take a 7-point lead into the halftime locker room. Thanks to the steal and jam with 3.4 seconds to go by Elliott. And of all pockets to pick, it's KJ's at the end of the half. 61-54 Spurs. We continue after these words from our local stations.
It's been asked for years now. When are the Spurs getting cheerleaders? It's been years since the Spurettes strolled the sidelines for the local franchise, so now the prayers of the diehards have been answered.
The Silver Dancers will be a dance team first and foremostly. We want to kind of depart from the traditional cheerleader type genre, but dancers are what we're looking for.
What we want for the Silver Dancers is one who knows how to perform, one that is somewhat extroverted, a lot of personality, just a lot of energy.
We're looking for girls who are attractive, have an athletic, clean-cut appearance, great dancers, and are intelligent and articulate, because they will be dealing with the public in community relations and media type events.
Roughly 300 hopefuls are expected for the May 2nd audition, but when only 15 spots are available, the competition will be intense. The qualifications are somewhat simple. All you've got to be is 18 years of age before May 1st and have either a high school diploma or GED by the end of the spring. There are, however, a few more requirements.
I'm looking for girls that have a lot of energy, very high energy level, very good dancers, technically, and funk.
Oh boy, can't wait till next season. For more information about the Silver Dancers, call either the Spurs office, KTFM, or Cheers Dance Studio. You can pick up your applications there as well. You've got to hurry, though. The application period ends on April 30th. Remember, the auditions start on May 2nd at the Convocation Center at Incarnate Word and are closed to the public, and that's quite unfortunate. Maybe we'll have to do something about that. Spurs up on the Phoenix Suns by 7, 61-54. We're at halftime, and we'll be back with more right after this. Chicago, the Bulls taking on the Miami Heat. And whenever you take on the Bulls, you've got to contend with, well, a couple of guys. There's one of them right there, Michael Jordan. Look out, 46 points, 11 rebounds, 9 assists for MJ. Just an ordinary day at the office. The baseline slam in your face, and there's your final, 113-94. Bulls take a 1-0 lead in their best-of-5 series against Miami. Detroit and New York, they should not allow Detroit to play in the playoffs. They can't score points. 109-75. Patrick Ewing, 24 points, 12 rebounds. One other game, Western Conference.
Over the Spurs beginning next year with us now at halftime. Jerry Tarkanian, from your seat in the stands, what was your view of the first half?
Well, I thought the Spurs played great ball. They started off really playing good defense, and then the defense broke down, but we were so good offensively, it didn't make any difference. I thought Sean Elliott early in the game just didn't let Hornacek go anywhere, and I was really impressed with the job Rod Strickland did on Kevin Johnson early in the game.
But, Coach, has got to concern you a little bit. They're shooting 67%, and in the points in the paint, Phoenix is outdoing the Spurs 24-10, so they've got to work the ball inside more in the second half.
Well, you know, I think the thing that hurt is when Antoine Carr picked up his third ball, because he was playing great ball, and, you know, the Spurs are not very deep right now, and Sidney had to stay in the game too long. I don't think he's used to playing that long, and I think that affected him a little bit. But overall, I think this has just been a great effort on the Spurs' part. I think if they can continue to play like this, it's going to be a great ball game.
You got the 18th pick in the draft. Any hints so far?
Well, you know, I don't know who's going to be available, but I think everybody knows what this team needs. This team needs a great perimeter shooter. And, you know, fortunately, because of Sean Elliott, he could play either 2 or 3. If we can get a great perimeter shooter at either of those positions, I think that's going to help a lot.
Tark, we'll let you get back to your seat. Appreciate your insight on the first half, which the Spurs lead 61-54. Back for the start of the second half in a moment. Royal, Antoine Carr limited by 3 first half fouls, rejected, and here come the Suns. Johnson underneath Ceballos and Andrew Lang. First points for Andrew Lang. He and power forward Tim Perry both held scoreless in the first half. They start Dan Marley in the second half.
Shut out by good defensive effort by Carr, and Carr immediately taken out of this game when he picked up the third foul in the first half.
And Donald Royal called for an offensive foul away from the ball, his second, so Phoenix quickly within 5. They can cut it to 3. Ceballos on fire in the first 9 minutes, didn't play thereafter as they went with Tom Chambers for 12 minutes. Marley with a miss, and Royal lost it as he battled with Strickland for the rebound.
Both going for the loose ball that came off of Donald's shoulder.
Phoenix 48% from the field in the first half. The Spurs 67%. Three-pointer by Jeff Hornacek, who in the regular season was 3rd in the league, 44%. For the best three-point shooting team in the league. The Suns 38%, phenomenally high for a roster. And Strickland right down the middle, 63-59. Marley quickly back. Carr got the block. And out of bounds off Ceballos. He says Royal touched it. Spurs might have gotten a break. First half rebounding, 19-15 Spurs. Cummings leading the way with 7. He also led the way with 15 shot attempts, 10 of which he made for 21 first half points. And they want the ball out of his hands. They double TC. Carr in the lane, got laying off his feet for the easy 2.
Boy, immediately when TC touches the ball, he draws a crowd now after having 21 points in the first half. They don't want him to beat them.
Likewise for Johnson. Out of the double team to Ceballos. Now 12 points. He carried their first quarter offense and wasn't seen thereafter.
Interesting that he only got 9 minutes of action there in the first half when he had one of the hotter hands, the hottest hand in fact.
Strickland, the middle opens up, but he misses. Lang stripped by Rod, and he got the 2 one way or the other.
Well, that's like David and Goliath there. Little Rod coming in to take the ball away and knocking down the giant inside.
(67-61). Lang's got it. End of possession.
He's kind of turned crossways there, loses his balance at the same time he falls to the floor, and Rod is able to pick his pocket.
Johnson 4 first half turnovers. Hornacek with 13 now, leading the Phoenix scoring.
Now off a nice screen by KJ as well.
Hornacek just 4th in Phoenix points in the first half. He led them during the season, and they go to him early in the second half. They cut it to 4. Marley called for the push in his matchup with Cummings. But Simmons with a word or 2 for Bavetta. First foul on Dan Marley.
Strange they call that foul when they let him play pretty easily in the first half.
Double team. Strickland waits for the open man. Carr. Hornacek the rebound. Phoenix to cut it to 2. On the back door, Johnson. A lot of traffic. Marley back open. Hornacek missed it. But Strickland pushed off to get the rebound. Loose ball foul on Lang. That's a surprise. That's his 3rd. Here's our Advantage Rent-A-Car halftime statistics brought to you by Advantage, featuring quality built products of the Chrysler Corporation. And again, the Spurs pumped by Cummings 10 of 15 shooting for 67% as a team, but only up by 4. Royal hard to the hoop. Goaltending on Lang.
2 points.
Good call. Watch it go in. He's got the arc here. As the ball comes off the glass, that's the rejection, and obviously goaltending.
And a 3 by Marley. 87 three-pointers during the year for Marley. He cuts the lead in half. At the 8-minute mark of the 3rd. Carr from 18 feet. Tremendous range by Carr tonight. 5 of 8 from the field, mostly from downtown. Johnson over Strickland. Phoenix, the 4th best shooting team in the league. As we said, the best three-point shooting team in the league. Looking more like themselves since their pole shooting start. Cummings fall away. Rebound, Ceballos lost it to the deck. Royal, a great hustle play and a great thinking play. Calling timeout before they can call him for traveling.
Good move because he was on. That's going to be a 22nd, and now they want a full. But in the process of going down, he realized he was going to be called for traveling if he didn't find somebody to throw the ball to, and he couldn't, so he calls a timeout.
Back after this from Southwest Airlines.
At Southwest Airlines, you can always depend on our low.
This half of Spurs basketball is made possible by Budweiser, the king of beers with that clean, crisp, cold taste. Nothing beats a Bud. By Mazda and your San Antonio Mazda dealers. By Nike, who reminds you to just do it. And by Texas Ford dealers. When only the best will do, Texas Ford and you.
Suns steal the inbounds pass by Donald Royal, and Dan Marley fouled at the other end by Rod Strickland. So after all of Royal's hard work to get that loose ball saved and get the timeout called, they turn it over. That is 15 San Antonio turnovers, and they will not win if they keep turning the ball over at this rate.
And he reaches in, and that's where they call the foul. He had position, but he just reached in, and every time on a break to the basket, they'll just about give that to the offensive players.
Suns have 8 more shot attempts in the Spurs, and most of them are gifts on turnovers like that one. And that's why the lead is only 2, despite the great shooting. 15 now for Marley off the bench. Effective, if somewhat quiet first half. Misses this one from 20. Not many shot attempts by Sean in the first half, and with Cummings drawing more defensive attention, Sean becomes more of a key in the third. Hornacek, a wild miss. Ceballos, the wild putback, and the Suns take the lead. Well, what a repertoire of shots Cedric Ceballos had. Slam dunk champion with a couple of circus shots tonight. Elliott answers, Spurs back in front.
Sean has got to take up the slack now. They've got to get back on defense.
Fitzsimmons making a great decision to start Marley in this third quarter for the ineffective Tim Perry. And a whistle by Dick Bavetta. Illegal defense warning, the first of the game against Phoenix. That's telecast right back here Sunday night, 8:30 Texas time for Game 2. Benny Johnson replacing Donald Royal.
Benny Johnson into the Spurs lineup for Donald Royal.
Benny with some moments in that first half.
Yeah,
with all 3 of the shots.
360 jumper he delivered.
Phoenix by 1, turnover number 16.
And Rod says he'll take credit for that when he was looking for any help that time. And thought that his teammate was going to break to the outside.
Johnson, 16 points, and the Suns had their biggest lead of the game, 3. They turned it around when they turned up the defensive heat in the second quarter. Johnson open, overlaying his first miss. Now important to get back on defense, and the Suns beat the Spurs down the court. Marley hits.
22nd timeout.
5:37 still to go in the third quarter, but this game is in the balance right here because they have got to turn it around. The momentum switching slowly but surely to the Suns.
Off the break here, he feeds Marley. Marley with a scoop to the hoop. And there you see Bass immediately wanting the timeout to stop the bleeding. The key, Dave, is the Spurs have gotten away here from what they were able to do in the first half. That is play team defense, and they got to get back to the ball. They cannot let the Phoenix Suns outrun them. They have got to get back on defense. And on offense, they got to get better ball movement and better penetration to the basket.
And to settle it down, Paul Pressey replaces Rod Strickland. Antoine Carr bangs on Andrew Lang and will go for the three-point play. Well, that's what the doctor ordered. If he hits the free throw, it's right back to a two-point game.
And
fourth foul on Lang.
Exactly. Big foul there drawn by Carr, and he does it with that little kind of hesitation move he makes inside and sends Lang to the bench.
When Lang is allowed to get aggressive defensively early, he's a force. When they call early fouls on him, he tends to disappear, and that's what's happened tonight. He scored only 2 points. No three-point play. Phoenix leads by 3. KJ trying to outquick Pressey. Tough shot. How many of those have they made tonight? That's got to be a half-dozen highlight film plays.
You can look at Sabalos. He had that one scoop underneath the basket. Then he came up with the other one down here in this end, and KJ's had 2 himself.
When you look at it that way, that's the difference in the game. They're circus shots and Spur turnovers. 17 for the game. Hornacek. And Pressey's long arms pulling away the board. Up to the Spurs to handle the double teams. And PC with his first points of the half. 23 now for the game. Double teaming by Phoenix, something the Spurs saw a lot of in the regular season. Most of the time they handled it much better than they have here. KJ 8 in the period, 20 now for the game. He'll go for the three-point play on Pressey's second time.
Well, here's the problem. Pressey, of course, does have the veteran leadership that they need to quiet this team down, but at the same time, he gives up some quickness, and you see KJ is able to beat him to the baseline. That's what they don't want to have happen. They want the defender to turn KJ to the inside so he can get help on double teaming, and he's also able to draw the foul that time. So that's what you run the risk of when you have Paul in the game.
Well, again, all about adjustments. And Bass deciding to adjust, hoping the turnovers would cease by getting Pressey in. What he gives up just cost him the three-point play. Phoenix again up by 6. Carr's fall away, short over West. Phoenix now dominating the glass, 25-20. Spurs have 1 rebound this half. Make it 2. Sabalos fouls Carr from behind. This is the kind of effort the Spurs open the game with. It's now belonging to the Suns.
They're going after every single loose ball as a team. You notice when the Spurs take a shot and miss, no one's there for the board. Now they're so worried about being burned on defense, everybody's back.
And now Johnson and Elliott talking to each other as Pressey throws it right between them and out of bounds. It just doesn't get uglier than that. The 18th turnover leading to the missed 3 by Hornacek. Greg, it really harkens back to the first couple of months of the season when turnovers were a big problem. They weren't really in the second half of the year. They have been tonight. Mark West with the second foul.
Yeah, especially when you look at how they average in turnovers against the team. They've already hit that average and then some.
6 fouls in the center spot. 2 Suns laying on the bench for 4. Well, it was a given that the outside shots weren't going to fall the way they did the first half, but the free throws need to keep falling as Strickland returns for Pressey. Bass deciding he needs the quickness more than the experience. 24 for Cummings, 83-78. Sabalos on the cut, rejected by Elliott and out of bounds off Cedric Sabalos.
A good defensive move by Sean, who got down quickly, got in front of his man, knocked it away, and it rolls out on Sabalos.
You can stop the bleeding here in these last 3:20 of the third quarter. Go into the fourth relatively even. Anything can happen. TC to the jump hook. Cuts it to 3. Suns trying to get into their offense very quickly. Cummings with the rejection down to Strickland as the fans wanted goaltending.
It looked like he hit the ball before it came off the backboard.
Tremendous blocks the last couple of times down by Sean and TC. Card double. Here's the good ball movement for Elliott's three-pointer. And that is how the Spurs built the 11-point lead.
Well, that's what they've been trying to get back to here since this second half started.
83 apiece, 2:33 in the third. KJ and Hornacek and Marley looking like their all-star selves since halftime. A Marley scoop and a Ceballos tip. Ceballos a point-a-minute man tonight. 16 now for the game. Elliott trying to break free from Hornacek. Ceballos gets the switch. Now this is back to the one-on-one, which has not served the Spurs well. West got the block. Open in the corner, Marley. Cummings late getting down. Johnson. And Hornacek finally pounded low to West. His longest shot of most games. Right there, about 8 feet out. And when the Spurs go to these isolation sets, you can see the Suns' eyes get big. They play right into their hands. Overplaying defense now by Phoenix. Shot clock down to 5 for Cummings. And another turnover. Johnson against Johnson. Marley.
Dave, now you have to wonder if fatigue is a factor. Too many guys are standing around now. No one's moving, no one's cutting. That time TC with just a lazy wraparound resulted in a turnover.
Shot clock at 5. They'll have to hurry it again to get it off. And Carr fouled with 3 to shoot. Makes you wonder as you go back to the first quarter effort if the Spurs didn't spend all of it right there. They look tired. They look like they have in a lot of fourth quarters without David Robinson and Willie Anderson. And that's not good news because we've still got 44.6 seconds to go in the third. Back after this from our local station.
Looks turnover. TC just looking there. He gets the push, but it was just kind of a lazy toss. It results in this backhanded drop-off there by KJ to Dan Marley for the two-handed slam. And once again, the turnover resulting in the easy basket for KJ and the Phoenix Suns.
6 third-quarter turnovers by the Spurs, 19 for the game. They've been outscored 27 to 15 in points off turnovers, and there is your ball game right now. Phoenix leads by 6. Marley put Carr on the line, and this also may be an indication of fatigue because the Spurs are missing free throws now.
Yeah, remember we saw it with TC a while ago when he was at the line, and you're right.
Sidney Green in for Cummings.
And that's exactly who they want to rest here for the fourth quarter.
Well, Bass's problem with his roster is so injury decimated is when they keep their starters in, he pretty much has to keep his in. And they played so hard in the first half that it has turned into a negative in the second half. Phoenix with the fresher, younger legs on top now by 5. And the whole fourth quarter still to go. Johnson posting on Johnson. 23 for KJ. Fitzsimmons will come back in the fourth quarter with arrested Chambers, arrested Perry. Two guys who start mostly every game. Bird will come off the bench for arrested, as will Neely. And the Spurs just can't match that kind of depth. Tough shot. Short, as have been so many of these third quarter shots. Phoenix looking for the last shot. And it comes from Hornacek, and a foul on Green with 1.7 seconds. The Spurs led by 7 when this period began. They now trailed by 7. And a rocking crowd at the Madhouse on McDowell, Veterans Memorial Coliseum. urging the Suns on as Burt and Perry prepare to check in for the final 1.7.
Number 15, Steve Bourbon.
14 now for Hornacek. There's Burt and Perry. Then for Johnson and Marley. All right, what a third quarter for both those guys.
Yeah, and the problem is they're going to the bench to rest now.
Hornacek, 89% free throw shooter, 7th in the league. And the end of the third period, and what a turnaround the Suns put on the Spurs in that third.
Attendance for tonight's game, a sellout, 14,496 the Suns. Thank you all very much.
A 39-point explosion in the third period. Phoenix by 9 as we go to the fourth after these words from Diamond Shamrock.
Spurs fans can get a free copy of the official 1991-92 Spurs team photograph. Just take your film to be processed for Texas-sized prints at your local HEB photo place. The 5x7 color photo includes the entire Spurs roster and coaching staff.
Suns open the fourth quarter with Tim Perry in. Block jam. Carr got it. West with a hand in Elliott's face. Throws it away, but Strickland was out of bounds when he got it, and it's back to Phoenix with 5 seconds on the shot clock. The Suns in that third quarter, as we look at Perry again, 39 points. That is 3 off their club playoff record.
Perry,
one quarter.
Denied by Carr there, as he has been most of the evening, by also Terry Cummings.
Perry a non-factor, in fact. 0 for 2 for the night. Marley playing power forward in that third quarter. 11 of his 21 points. Cummings resting with 26 points, leading the Spurs on the bench. Next is Elliott with 16. Carr and Strickland each with 13. Now they reset the shot clock, deciding that the Spurs had possession. From 5 to 19, major difference. Savalos against Elliott. Johnson against Hornacek, who goes right past him. And another one of those circus shots falls. Hornacek now with 17, and Phoenix, after trailing by 11, leads by 11.
Well, before Elliott was able to stay in front of him, now he's able to get around Sean and penetrate, and Sean's not getting any help inside.
Mark West fouls Antoine Carr, his third. Well, that's really about the only problem that Simmons has right now. Minor foul trouble at center. Lang on the bench with 4, West with 3. And another foul as Green had the mismatch against Jeff Hornacek, his third. So it has strictly become one-on-one basketball for the Spurs, whether it's fatigue, whether it's lack of concentration, lack of a memory as to what worked for him so well in the first half. It is not working.
Someone show him a photo. Some tape.
Outside shot. Once again, triggering the Phoenix fast break. And Carr pulls it down. And the Spurs fast break, meanwhile, non-existent since the first quarter. Carr from 20 has 15 points. Antoine's first trip to the postseason in 3 years. He made it 86 through 89 with Atlanta. Not back since then. Hornacek air ball after he thought he was fouled. And I'm surprised that one didn't go. VJ from Strickland. Lots of short shots in the second half. As the legs appear to be going. And a long way still to go. 10:05 to play. Savalos against Carr. And Antoine reaches in and commits his fourth.
Antoine tries to make it a subtle move inside, but Savalos had beaten him to the baseline. He was forced to try and front him. Looks like he might have caught a hand or an elbow in the mouth, too, in the process. Here he goes to the inside. Looks like he got a headbutt. But at the same time, he was trying to hold him down with a left hand by keeping the right hand in the air. So they caught him on it.
2 shots.
Savalos loves playing the Spurs. He had season highs of 27 points and 13 rebounds in the game here last week. Just his 5th start of the year. Coming tonight, he's come through with 17 points. Jeff Hornacek replaced by Kevin Johnson. Trent Tucker, who began the year in the Suns camp, sees his first action tonight. A 3-pointer or 4 would come in handy here in the 4th quarter.
4 consecutive would be nice.
Sabalos can make the lead 11. That doesn't. And Cummings loses the rebound but saves it. Picked up by Elliott. Off Carr to Tucker. Everything's a circus now. Nothing coming easy. Or contact between Tucker and Johnson. Well, these fans need to take a pill.
They're yelling at anything.
Carr again, top of the key, and the putback by Trent Tucker.
A big pill.
96-88. NBA game, a game of streaks. If the Spurs come up with one, an interesting stretch run tonight is still possible. Dan Marley with a miss. Sabalos. Cummings with rebound number 10. Tucker on the line. That's a 2. And that's a shame. Phoenix with a 20-second timeout call. That could have cut it to 5. Instead, it's 96-90.
Well, they got a little run going here, and that's something that they can hang their hat on.
And it's got to come from a Tucker or someone else who's fresh off the bench, because Cummings with 21 first-half points, not a whole lot more energy than what he expended in that first half.
He spent, and he went just about after every loose ball, too. Remember, he was always where the ball was, and just about grounding to nothing in that 3rd quarter.
And the guy who's been playing 39, 40 minutes for a month without David Robinson. So the cumulative effect on a post-30-year-old body starting to show.
And it's got to be a big quarter also from Sean Elliott, not only on offense, but on defense as well. He's got to get to the boards.
Boy, you look up, you're shooting 61% for the game and have been down by as many as 11. What's wrong with this picture? They have at least handled the ball better. The turnovers have slowed. They have 19 for the game. They've lost 29 points on turnovers. And Phoenix kicks this one away. That's their 11th. They've lost only 15 points on turnovers. A 14-point advantage for the Suns.
Mark West was wide open, too. He had beaten Carr down to the basket. He just lost the handle on the pass.
Tucker against Burt. Cummings with the size advantage backs down Marley. And misses. West clears and leads Burt. Elliott with a great effort, but Burt gets it to fall. Pick and roll. No double team this time, but it's still foiled. Offensive foul or a block. It's a block on Burt. Who can't believe it?
Well, from this angle, it looked like the call was right, that Burt just flopped immediately after Tucker took a step. Now watch here. Here's Burt, and there you see the flop. So good call.
And Strickland burns an 18-footer. 15 points now for the Rocket, 98-92 as we hit the 8-minute mark. So the Suns giving the Spurs the outside shot, and they may be falling again. Mark West, the power slam. That's how you shoot 63% from the field.
Take no shot outside of 4 feet.
He lives by that rule. Strickland all the way to answer. And the Rocket with a 17-point game.
Getting the penetration now.
Phoenix much slower getting into their offense. They fall into the isolation trap, but they're much better at that. They'll shoot over your defense. A long 2 for Hornacek, who has 19 points. Even if the Spurs start hitting again, the way they did in the first quarter, Phoenix in a position to just trade baskets. This is a technical on their second illegal defense of the night.
Oh, that just scares you, though, when you see him go into that isolation. Tucker looking to try and get Cummings the ball, and in the process here, Phoenix is starting to try and double up.
Timeout, 6:58 remaining. Well, first of all, they'll let Elliott attempt a technical free throw. Spurs just 2 of 5 this half at the line. And now the timeout. 6:58 remaining in a 7-point game here in Phoenix.
The wrong glasses.
Fresh, pure, and natural. The only beer with the genuine taste of the king of beers, Budweiser.
Our 4th game summary, a big night for Terry Cummings. KJ as well, a double-double, and he and Marley combining for 22 of their 39 third-quarter points. Turnovers continue to haunt the Spurs, too many of them in the middle 2 periods, letting Phoenix first get back in the game and then take as much as an 11-point lead. Antoine Carr's jam makes it a 5-point game. Antoine outscoring the Phoenix center combo tonight, 17-10. Johnson off to Burt. Burt with the scoop.
Oh, and that's a shame because Rod Strickland had a great defensive move that time to strip the ball away on the penetration and didn't result in anything for the Spurs,
who are still shooting 62% from the field. Boy, how demoralizing it would be to lose this game shooting that well. Where is there to go from 62%? 5 on the shot clock for Strickland. Chambers in, reaches, but too late as Rod will have the 3-point opportunity. 3rd foul on Chambers, 4th on the team.
Good penetration by Rod here. If he's showing any signs of fatigue, it's not showing up here as he goes inside. There you see the strip. He's got the jersey, and still Strickland is able to finish off the shot. Oh, what a power move of a little guy against the big guy.
A 20-point effort for Rod Strickland. 4th period halfway gone and a 4-point game. If you told the Spurs they'd be in this position about an hour and a half ago, they'd have hugged you. And that's right where they are. The question is how much gas is left in the tank. Shot clock again winding down to 5 to 3. Carr's 20-footer, no. And Steve Burt loses the rebound out of bounds. So the Spurs keep it with 5:31 to play. Wet spot to be taken care of first.
They got the bounce that time. It went out. Strickland cut off Burt as he tried to go to the ball, and he had no place to go with it.
Well, again, if you win game 1, the odds shift tremendously into your favor, especially if you have the disadvantage in the home court situation when the series began. You can regain the home court advantage in 1 night. And the Spurs in that position if they can come from 4 down.
In a stringent 10,000-mile test, and
14,496 for the 110th consecutive sellout here, and 5.5 minutes to go in game 1. Dave Barnett and Greg Simmons at Veterans Memorial Coliseum, where Terry Cummings attempted to cut the lead in half. 104-100 Phoenix. KJ to Steve Burt, and that has got to be 8 or 9 of those shots that shouldn't go but do.
Boy, he slammed into the defender and it still fell in.
Boy, he's off balance. He's coming down instead of going up. There's every reason for these shots not to fall. The Suns are going to look at the Spurs field goal percentage and say they can't play any better. The Spurs will look at the shots the Suns have put down and say the same thing. And it's 28 now for Cummings.
So far, fatigue combined with the fact that Dan Marley started here in the second half has taken the Spurs score out of the game. But he tries to put himself back in with that basket.
Hornacek off the Chambers screen. And 8 for Chambers. The lead is 6. He's giving it up and the chance to go one-on-one that time. And Carr sees the middle open wide up.
Well, that time everybody was so worried about Terry Cummings and everyone was looking for the ball to go in that Carr was able to slip in undetected.
19 for Quan tonight. 9 of 15 from the field. Big games from Cummings, Carr, and Strickland. With a nice game from Elliott, who fouls Hornacek.
Now, Elliott and Jeff Hornacek have been going at it a lot tonight, and that time they bumped a little bit too much.
Sean second, team second. On the next Phoenix foul, the Spurs have the bonus. 3:55 and counting. Spurs needing to string together 2 or 3 stops in a row. There's one as Chambers took the off-balance shot. And Carr there for the board. And the look again is the Cummings one-on-one set against Marley. Marley playing the denial defense. And Carr almost threw it away. The Suns touched it, so it's not an over and back, but the shot clock's down to 4. Elliott hits the 3. It is a 1-point game. Cotton takes a deep swallow after that one. Marley thought about an answering 3. Johnson to Chambers. Carr makes a miss. Cummings the board. The Spurs can take the lead back with 2:53 remaining in game 1. Cummings way short. Marley with the loose ball. An enormous defensive stop for Phoenix. Johnson all the way and finally misses as Carr picks up number 5.
One more foul and Antoine Carr is gone. He's been a big factor here in the second half. Not only on offense, but on the boards as well here in the second half.
And Bass right now making no move to get Carr out of there. Arguing with Bavetta instead. AJ can make it a 3-point game with 2.5 minutes to go. Andrew Lang returns.
To the Suns lineup. Number 24
replaces Tom Chambers. Not a real effective night for Tom Chambers. Just 3 of 9, 8 points off the bench. .109-107. The thing the Spurs have to be thinking in the backs of their minds is we may not be in this position in game 2. You don't get that many shots on the other guy's home floor. They've got a shot tonight. Can they convert? Elliott misses on the attempt to tie. Hornacek chases the rebound down. And is fouled in the deep backcourt by Cummings.
Now that was a frustration foul because at that moment, Sean, of course, could have evened things up. Cummings, feeling the pressure down the stretch here, reaches in on Hornacek.
Well, pressure and disgust as well. He missed a makeable shot. Elliott likewise. That's a couple of chances to tie it. At the 2-minute mark, Phoenix still on top by 2. Cummings in a switch has Hornacek, who drives him. And the dish to Andrew Lang, who misses, gets it back, and it's stripped, and it's Cummings with a loose ball. So the Spurs defense coming up with another big stop.
And Bob Bass is screaming for a timeout.
With 1:35, he gets it. Game 1 in the balance. The Spurs in position to steal one here in Phoenix.
Myth.
Foreign trucks are more economical.
Fact.
No truck, foreign or domestic, gets better gas mileage than Ford Ranger. Myth.
They need a big basket. Cummings has come through for them.
How do you adjust when a guy like David Robinson goes down? I know you've had games without Charles Barkley in Philadelphia this year. You guys beat the Portland Trail Blazers in Philly without Charles in the lineup. Do you have to tell your guys something, or do they just say, hey, let's pick it up a notch, the big guy's not here?
Trail Blazers, night before that, we beat Chicago, back-to-back without Charles. I think in a short stretch, Ernie, you're able to do that. Long-term, don't try it. Dangerous.
In a short series like this, you like to have David Robinson in there, but they do not have him, but they're still in it. Let's go to bonus coverage now of the Veterans Memorial
In his home state, where until this year he did not have much success. How sweet that was. Spurs took the Suns' best shot in the third quarter and survived it. Led the fourth period, but not the game. Minute 35 to go. 109-107 Suns. So many years, this Phoenix crowd known as one of the more passive crowds in the NBA. Not anymore. Every one of them standing and chanting. Strickland, shot clock at 8 to Tucker. Marley denies Cummings. 5 to shoot. TC's turn around to tie it. Yes! 30 for Cummings. 109 all. Johnson, double team. That left Burt free. Burt, goaltended by Carr. The Spurs will argue that ball was under the rim when Antoine grabbed it.
Oh, that's a tough call. Now, the ball clearly on its way down, but is it short? That is the answer. From that angle, it's hard to tell. From the angle that we have down here, it looked like the ball was way short of the rim.
Phoenix by 2, 52 seconds. Elliott driving and hits over Lang. Big shots falling for Cummings and Elliott.
Just playing on adrenaline now.
Playoff basketball, 42 seconds. Marley with 10 to shoot. Goes past Cummings. Carr got the block, the whistle, and the foul, and that will be all for Antoine Carr.
Oh, and a late whistle, too. He did not hear the whistle until long after the shot had been denied. Now, Antoine has got to watch himself for a technical here. Bass is out, pleading McCartney to get off the court. But clearly the whistle was very late here. As Marley goes here, the body contact is made, but you do not hear the whistle until right now when it's decided that the Spurs have possession. And that's what is frustrating Antoine Carr now. Sidney is trying to calm him down. What the Spurs don't need now is a technical on top of everything else. Not with this close of a game.
Well, he was already hot about the goaltend, and this on top of that. And really a good job containing all that anger by Carr and not getting a tee. Regular season game, he might have been tossed.
Yes.
Playoffs, he holds it in, and Marley can untie it with 31.3 seconds. Phoenix timeout, San Antonio. Their next to last timeout. When we come back, they will shoot with the game on the line.
The U.S. Olympic Festival. You never know who you'll see.
It was really a great experience for me. I was coming out of high school, just about to enter my freshman year of college. For the first time, I got a chance to play against some other basketball players around the country, and also got a chance to meet some of the people that participated in other sports that I had only seen on TV. So it really, I guess, brought the world around me a lot closer to me.
The U.S. Olympic Festival '93, where stars earn their stripes. Now you can relive that experience every time you visit.
Support Antoine Carr's anger here, although it is a very close call. Here's the penetration by Burt. Notice the ball here, as Carr gets a hand on it, is actually on the rim and just barely coming off. Now, the ball probably would not have gone in. It looked even short from this angle, and that angle it looked short too. But had it gotten a roll and gone in, it was close enough for them to call, and that's exactly what they did. And that's why Antoine Carr is so hot. Not so much because the foul that took him out of the game, but that combined with the goaltending call.
Well, he thinks he's made a couple of possible game-saving plays, and instead it turns into 4 Phoenix points, and he's gone. And they lead with 31.3 seconds. Royal replacing Carr, along with Strickland, Cummings, Tucker, and Elliott. Hornacek, KJ, Burt, Marley, and Lang for Phoenix. Wouldn't the 3 be wild? Spurs, the worst three-point shooting team in the league most of the year. Go for the 2. Strickland doesn't get a whistle, but it is out of bounds off Johnson with 23 seconds.
And look at the smile on Rod's face. What else do they have to do to me to get a whistle?
16 to shoot, as Tucker will trigger it in. Through Royal's hands, it'll go out of bounds, and that might be all the Suns need. They had turned off the turnover tap in the fourth quarter. Here's number 20, and this could be the backbreaker.
Well, here's what happens. Tucker is looking for Strickland. Burt was in his face. He saw Royal flash through open. He threw it very hard, two-handed overhand, and Carr, in this case Royal, was not ready for the ball.
And a cardinal mistake not to be. Gotta be looking for it. 19.4 seconds. Phoenix ball up 2. Game 2 comes up Sunday night at 8:30 here on the Spurs television network. And despite shooting 61% for the game in Game 1, this one may be slipping away. Look for the Suns to come out, let KJ penetrate, and try to get a whistle. Even better, try to hit a shot as he's getting the whistle. So it comes down to the Spurs hoping that they can make a play on Johnson and not put the Suns on the line, where they can give themselves a 4-point lead and maybe close the whole thing out. Where their own mistakes victimizing the Spurs so often, so many unforced turnovers. But they somewhat corrected the problem in the fourth quarter until now.
One more time, we'll take a look at this, where Tucker is trying to get it inbounds to Rod Strickland, the ball handler. This is from the ground angle here, and you'll see a flash of Royal open right there, and it's too late. I think what Royal was doing was looking for someone to pass the ball to immediately. He took his eyes off the ball for a split second, and it got by him.
Spurs have only one more timeout remaining, as Marley will trigger it in. 113-111 Phoenix. Can't find anybody and calls time. And now the Suns have only one timeout left.
Spurs do a good job of clogging it up as they're trying to find somebody inbounds to get the ball to.
Paul Westphal, who takes over the reins for Fitzsimmons next year, as they move into the new America West Arena. A lot of people here in Phoenix doing that announcement's timing yesterday of something that was going to happen, and it was only a matter of when, but they view the timing as a preemptive move. If the Suns don't go as far as they hope in the postseason, and then Fitzsimmons steps aside, it looks as if he's pushed aside, where it's his choice, and he wants to make sure everybody knows it's his choice, and that's, I think, why he did it, as opposed to trying to fire up his team.
Well, I think you can also add on that factor, too, at the same time, that they want to play for you, knowing it's going to be your last year here in the playoffs. So it can work both ways for you. It's your call. and then the players play hard for it.
Well, both teams have had 11-point leads in this wild game one. The Spurs throwing a tremendous effort in the first half at the Suns. Boy, if looks could kill, there'd be some dead folks.
Antoine Carr still seething over the goaltending and the final foul that took him out of the game.
Each team with one timeout. Keith Porter turned out to be the third when Phoenix cut a 7-point halftime lead into a 9-point advantage. 39-23 in that third quarter. The Spurs, to their credit, have battled back hard from 11 down in the fourth quarter. Big shots by Elliott, a big one by Cummings, and a couple by Carr, but the turnover with 19.4 seconds, giving Phoenix the opportunity to close them out here in game one.
If nothing else, it sends a message to Phoenix. They're going to have to deal with them in game two.
Hornacek, shot clock off. They do not have to take a shot, so it's keep away into the hands of Burt. And now KJ, did he step over? It looked like he might have. Whistle blows on a foul way before the shot. Steve Javy was right on the midcourt stripe and says Johnson's foot stayed in the half court.
We'll see if we can spot it here. This looks like the foot is on the line from this angle, but remember, we're at a little angle there.
I guess there was about 1/10 of an inch in there, and he probably did stay in the half court.
His shoe size had been about a half width more. That would have been Spurs ball.
So on the line with 7.8 seconds is the guy the Spurs wish wasn't. Hornacek, 7th in the league at 89% for the year. His 20th point makes the lead 3. If he hits 21 for the night, it's all but over. And there it is. Spurs use their final timeout. Well, considering the fact that the Spurs don't excel in three-point shooting and the Suns will run away and hide from anybody who tries to take a three, look for the quick inbounds pass and the quick two. And if they can get it off in a couple of seconds, the whole sequence begins itself again. They try to steal the inbounds pass. If not, they foul quickly. They hope the Suns make one or fewer free throws. And they hope they can get 2 shots off in this 7.8-second period. It's their only hope, because they will not, I guarantee, be fouled as they attempt a three.
Now you have to ask yourself, you know, they got so close tonight, they were able to battle back, to hold themselves together. Is this a message to the Phoenix Suns realize they're going to have to deal with this team in game 2? Or, you know, do the Suns dominate in game 2? That's the problem. Do they spend themselves all in game 1 here?
Well, they've got to say, we let a team shoot 61% against us, and we won. What more can they do? They can't possibly play any better. Problem is the Spurs can play better. They can handle the ball better. That's why they are not apparently going to win this game long. So there is room for improvement.
And this is, I think, for the Spurs themselves as a team, it's got to be a confidence booster. When everyone said this is going to be a rout, a sweep, the game won't even be close, looking 13-point underdogs coming in tonight's game. Now look at this score.
And Antoine Carr just wishing he could be a part of the windup. 7.8 seconds. Tucker will inbound it. One possibility, Tucker throws it in, gets it back, takes a quick three, cuts it to 1. We'll see what they've concocted. It's Strickland, and it's stolen. Johnson to Marley, and this is how this game ends. It is all over, and the Suns have taken game 1. To 111. Our game 1 final here in Phoenix. We'll have more when we return in a moment.
We'll see you back here.
Phoenix holds the home court in game one. They won at 117-111, led by Dan Marley's 25 points. The Spurs get 30 and 12 rebounds from Terry Cummings. They shoot 61%, but they self-destruct with 21 turnovers, and they force only 11 points off turnovers to decide this game for Phoenix. 33-15, their advantage there, and that's where the Spurs have got to improve in game two if they are going to come out with the win that they hope to have to go back home even in the series.
Yeah, but we see good flashes. We see 20 from Rod. We see 22 from Sean, who hadn't done well here before. A key three-pointer in this game. Antoine Carr comes live with good work on the boards, also good offensive work. So there's hope for game two here. I think it could be a confidence builder for this team and necessary for them to maybe possibly steal one here in the next game.
Final statistics brought to you by Advantage Rent-A-Car, featuring quality built products of the Chrysler Corporation. And the field goal percentage, not a club record. It's 66% in the postseason. Phoenix 51%. They have a 9 free throw edge, a 6 rebound edge. But again, the turnovers tell the story in this one, and they have the 1-0 lead they hope to have after game one. 117-111 again, our final tonight for the Suns over the Spurs. One more trip to the Spurs Center and Cordell.
All right, thanks, guys. You really have to be impressed about game one by the San Antonio Spurs. You got no David Robinson, Willie Anderson back at home. The good news, David Robinson, of course, had his cast removed. Spurs go down in defeat, but once again, hats off to San Antonio. 117-111. The Phoenix Suns take a 1-0 lead in this best-of-5 series. Now let's go to our Bud Dunk of the game, and it came by the big dog, Antoine Carr. He fouled out, but look at that monster slam, clearing out the lane. Let's look at it again. Antoine Carr showing his agility as he goes down the lane to provide our Budweiser dunk of the game. Let's go to some scores. Budweiser scoreboard coming your way. All of these playoff games, and they are all final right now. New York 109, Detroit 75. The Pistons proving again that they cannot score points. Chicago behind Michael Jordan's 46 points. They down Miami, the Heat's first venture into the playoffs, 113-94. And the other Western Conference game, well, this one's late in the fourth quarter, not a final as of yet. The Clippers' first playoff appearance since 1976. They're losing to Utah 105-86. The big play for the San Antonio Spurs came late in the fourth period. They found themselves trailing by 4 points, and here's our Mazda big shot of the game. It came courtesy of Sean Elliott going back to his native state of Arizona. He cans that three-pointer, and look at the emotion by Sean Elliott. Antoine Carr saved the ball over to Sean Elliott. He hits the three. That pulled the Spurs to within one, but once again they come up short. They fall today to the Phoenix Suns. They lose the series. They're losing in the series 1-0 to the Phoenix Suns. Don't forget, our next broadcast will come Sunday night. It'll be Game 2, Phoenix and the San Antonio Spurs back out in the Valley of the Sun. That wraps it up for us, for everyone out in Phoenix. For Greg Simmons, Dave Barnett, I'm Cordell Patrick. Hope you enjoy the game. We'll see you Sunday. So long and good night, everybody.
This half of Spurs basketball has been made possible by Anheuser-Busch, who reminds you to please drink responsibly, because friends know when to say when. By H-E-B. Every day there's a new reason to shop H-E-B. By Mazda and your San Antonio Mazda dealers. By Nike, who reminds you to just do it. By Southwest Airlines, celebrating 20 years of everyday low fares and convenient flights to many exciting destinations. By Texas Ford Dealers, when only the best will do, Texas Ford and you. And by Diamond Shamrock, all you need for gas and groceries.